We do prostration first. Namo manju shri Namo su shri Namo dhamma shri soha. Namo manju shri Namo su shri Namo dhamma shri soha. Namo manju shri Namo su shri Namo dhamma shri soha. Janju Bado Nandi Gapsu Chi, Nagi Jungi Nibe Sonagi, Gola Menje Sangi Joba Shu, Bigi Jungji Medoja, Rira Lishi Nide Kipati, Sangi Jindo Mide Uai, Uginanda Shenga Jeba Shu, Idang Guru Rana Mendala Kandi Yadaya Mi. All sentient beings who are in the state of suffering, they were once our mothers, and they had been our mothers for numberless time. Their kindness to us was exactly the same as the mothers of this life. So all kind mother sentient beings, though wish for happiness and do not want suffering, not knowing the object of abandonment and the adoption properly, they create a karma that bring forth the result of sufferings only. So in our minds, sincerely cultivate loving kindness towards all kind mother sentient beings, thinking, how nice if all sentient beings had happiness. May all sentient beings have happiness. I will cause all sentient beings to have happiness. Yeah. Then next we cultivate compassions towards all kind mother sentient beings, thinking, how nice if all sentient beings treat us were free of all adverse conditions. May all sentient beings treat us be free of all adverse conditions. I will cause all sentient beings treat us to be free of all conditions, to be free of all adverse conditions. Next, we cultivate bodhicitta, asking oneself first, who should take the responsibility to free all sentient beings from samsara and from all sufferings? The answer is, I should take the responsibility to free all sentient beings, to be free of samsara and to be free of all sufferings. But I do not have the ability to do so. Only those who have achieved the state of enlightenment have the ability to do so. Therefore, for the sake of all sentient beings, I want to become Buddha by all means.
동번지 되는 선을 주지. 다 풍보다는 이치다 다들 강도요 모두게 더랑 이치 주비 동안이 사고서 선을 당주스.
Next, we meditate on emptiness, that I and aggregates are not intrinsically different, nor intrinsically one, or intrinsically one, nor intrinsically different. Therefore, I do not exist intrinsically.
다들 이제 신승제 탕지되는 상지지 공부했던 대제에 더 전문가들이 지금 많은 책들도 지금 신승제가 변화되는 인사도 보여주다 답주스.
So set motivation. For the sake of all sentient beings, I want to become Buddha. For this purpose, I'm going to receive teaching on Lamrim and practice accordingly in order to benefit sentient beings.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Yes, got it. Yeah. This. Yeah, so today I'm going to talk about stilling. So previously, when we talk about killing, then we talk about four factors or four factors. So the first one is basis. Yeah, the first one is basis. The second one is attitude, and the third one is performance and completions. So these four factors, then you will see it in the rest of the 9 negative actions. So the basis for stealing is something owned by another. So just like killing, so when we talk about attitudes, then there are 3. So first one is discernment or perceptions. The second one is mental afflictions, and the third one is motivation. So the perception for stealing, then we need an unmistaken perception for discernment. So motivations, there are 3. So attachment, anger, and ignorance. So we can steal out of any of these 3 types of afflictions. So steal out of attachment. For example, we see a very beautiful things that is owned by another, then we like it very much, then we steal it from others.
That's also the magas and which indeed magas meeting general longi to sell chado chin magani chado chin that is good so kumajin kanda chola kayada dirova pashu te kanda megasa hedang 미신다 간다 야부친구나 뭐다 야부제나 소소 마가 선자 데모 뭐라도 보여야 잘하신다 야부제와이나 소소 마가 데라 현차 맞지나야 예배 해당 군도선에 이거 내가 쓰고 내려와.
So stealing could be out of anger as well. Like for example, we see our enemies having something very nice, have great wealth, has a lot of resources. Then because the person is our enemies, so out of anger, then we steal the things away from the persons, away from the enemies. So it is not out of attachment, but we steal it from the enemy out of anger. Like for example, a very nice car, then that is owned by the enemy, then we steal it out of anger.
so kuje kuma je baina de ke jingu mares transe ganga da han chamba deres anda de bures transe ganga da chamba bure de transe na ji so no so kuma je ku baina neba yo mares ta tumuwa go ta de na shi ta de na shi ma so tumuwa ko baina so so be neba yo ma shi ba de wong ka shi me shi wong ta ku ya yo
So stealing could be committed out of ignorance as well. Like for example, those non-Buddhists. So there is such an assertion saying that the world and wherever and the inhabitants. So the whole world and the inhabitants are controlled under the power of Brahma. Under the god Brahma. So, and those Brahmins, who is the son of the Brahma, so if they steal the things, like for example, any things, so since it is an inhabitant of the world, then there is owned by the Brahma. So if Brahmins steal anything, then it doesn't become a negativity. So this is asserted by those non-Buddhists. So this, if a Brahmin, for example, and went and steal something, then it is stealing out of ignorance. So he doesn't know that stealing becomes a negativity. So it could be stealing unknowingly as well. Like for example, a kid steal out of ignorance. Like for example, steal out of ignorance. Another example is that a kid go and steal things, and the kid doesn't know that stealing break the country laws, and it doesn't know that it will resulted in putting him in the prison and etc. So this is also one of the example for stealing out of ignorance.
바로 볼에 잘라대 봐. 잔대지 수술을 제 유명하게 내봐. 다 수술 건다 구한테 보고 들어와. 바로 볼에 잘라 여봐대. 다 바로 수술 구한테 우리 바로 볼에 다 자완대 들어와. 데려와. 이 수술을 제 유명. 뭐다 군대기 상바대. 간다 구고 그만 구야 군대기 상바대. 군대기 상바대. 그 지역은 대바이죠. 근데 내가 지내고.
So the motivations is desire to take something belonging to someone else away from them without it having been given. So you take away, you wish to separate something that is owned by another person. So you wish to separate the possessions away from its owner, and then and you become the owner of the thing.
That Joe said that 우도 배 무슨 소치를 집어지장 니 집어리세요. 다 간단하게 나와데 그 조아들 앞에 소소 공부해서 고바이나다 미신달라 고도 주바. 들어와. 미신달라 저랑 잘라 듣고 싶어요. kinda 땅바다. 다 소소 고바된다. 조아 니가 집어지버리세요. 소소 미신다 땅에 잘라도 고네 lesna soso kuba nashi neba soso ta live res kurwa odire.
So performance then, performance is either you steal it yourself or you ask someone else to steal it for you. So either way, then you create the negativities. So even if you ask someone else to steal it for you, the person who gives the order also creates the negativities of stealing it yourself. It also creates the negativities as if you're stealing it yourself.
That doing more that doing more that condition is that put on the ship. That doing more that Japajin equation, dealer contact Tony. Japajin was Tunguno, but the Japajin Tony, the Kunwa, the Kanda Mashiba, how about the Susan Shima, the Susan or the Todan the Dichita. That in Johnny me double the Mantoba the Ninjani, good match, one over there. That day, my Susu Tambo, Playani. That Playani, ya Paju Poro with the Temba Geno Chinati, Susu Samantani. That put Temba Gena Susu Peta, awesome, Susu Pama, they were cheap, with the Dichini.
Because at the Shina the Temba Gero,
Temba Gen is number Paro, Temba Jevaina, that's Susu Tinguina, the Pama Jevachi, this also double gene. Vegetable, that kind of deal, Majin Balim, Da mission that is Sola Jala's journey. Happy Komoton Chinta Pachon Yarochis, Sikyobaina. That should be the Hamba in the Pamajeva. Hamba, Shinesuso, Tawachevaina, a dear Kumar. That kind of mean Goko on a Tashi can reach Chevaina, Susu Pechala Raj and Goko on a Tashina to convict them by now. That's how much kind of control and Google Hesel. So Kumashia, Majin Balevi, that kind of Google Hesel. So the Tashin also came into your Tashinas of Pecha Donuts, this also like Jala, Tashinanso, Chenekanda, Harobotic is also Mashiba. Mashiba, this also we can that say that Tashinanso can be in a limbaina, a Mashiba limba, and that is never changed.
So we talk about the nature of the performance. So nature of the performance basically is how you steal it from another person. Like you can steal it by robbing the person. So by force, then you take it away from the person. Then there is also one of the nature of the performance. Then you can also steal it sneakily or secretively. So the persons do not know that you have already taken away. So you steal it secretively, and then you borrow loan. So someone lends you some money. Then you in your mind, then you wish that person forget that he had lent you some money. So you yourself remember, but you wish the person do not remember that he had lent you some money. So, and the person forgot, then it becomes stealing as well. Then you borrow some money from others, like for example 1,000 ringgit from others. Then out of greedy, then out of greediness, then you keep the money and you do not return. Then that is also one of the nature of the performance. So basically, when we talk about the nature of the performance in the context of stealing, then you use all sorts of means to take things away from others. So after we go through the basis, then we talk about the attitudes, then the bad attitudes, and we also talk about perceptions, motivations, and mental afflictions, then performance. Then after that, then you take it away from others. Then in your mind, then you have this thought that I got it, so I've got it, or now it is mine. Then if you have this mind, then that is the completion. Then it becomes a complete stealing, the act of stealing.
이 잘라서 자는 간다 돌로 지우디 이 소소로 마시네비 다 간다 대랑 장소 소소로 내가도 지우디 예스와 그냥 장도 마시자 미진다라 나니 생진다 보이나 가리나 디스 쇼세 무슨 거 봐이나 이 간다 미 가서 되게 세잖아 내가 소도 가서 소봉봉 가서디 이 내가 소소 링고 예스와 간다
내가면 저기요
我连上中国的是说了现在你的几百斤的마시네비 돌로是吧미진다 나와 이나 된다 지바리 예스와 간다
It's just like in the context of killing. So if a person were to order another person to kill sentient beings, and if the object of killing died, then the person who gives the order also creates a complete act of killing as well. So similar to this, for a person who orders someone else to steal or rob others, then if the person's developed this thought that, oh, I've got it, or now it's mine, then the person who gives the order also create a complete act of stealing.
我在这里看到马新那边林巴的，当我就去做了，但马新林巴的就当我说手术马新巴的那个蛤蟆我不做呢，在这里因为那个是比如说，我说所以呢咯，那个钱个忙不有了，那个钱个忙不有身上，但马新那边我说等到就说了，所以呢咯呗，就说边就听他那个讲讲就是他。我这地里过了，地里我身上在马新那边，也看到我说，当我就去修村呢，手术马新巴呢，有手术给你们打包了，被你们查清楚啥的呢？也看到，秋的到马呢，不得嘛，那些手术基本都要嘛都行了，现在了怕过下去找我那个要嘛了，你不听，对吧？这手术基本，我你说在的，你看到这张可以清楚的，那是马新来说的，我些个人家就好嘛，我村里。这刚才就是我们回来听我了吧？我听你说的，这当我说的，稀稀擦擦现在这人看擦完了，他不是忙不休息是吧？他刚才我说多了，我就心里边嘛都差不多。
And so we have to be very careful with these actions of stealing as well, because if we are not careful with it, then there is a great danger that there's a great risk that we will create such negative actions. Because in a society, so in a community like a Buddhist community, a Dharma centers as well, then we have to be very careful with it as well. Otherwise, we might create the negative karma of stealing every day. If we are not careful, then we might create a negative karma of stealing every day. Then that karma oneself has to experience its result. Oneself has to experience, and it cannot be shared with someone else. So this is brief explanations about stealing. And because if we were to go too deep, then it will take a long time. Then if we were to go deep, then it will discuss about the value of the things and etc. So this we will not go through. So next is sexual misconduct. So again, for sexual misconduct, there are 4 factors: basis, attitude, performance, and completion. So regarding the basis, there are 4 bases of sexual misconduct. The first one is inappropriate persons. So is those you shouldn't have sexual intercourse with, for example, your mother and so forth, women under the care of their mothers and so forth, or men, hermaphrodites, and ordained women. Then the second basis is inappropriate body parts, are those other than the entrance to the womb, such as the mouth. And the third one is inappropriate places, are the places near gurus, places near stupas, or statues, or scriptures, and the like. And inappropriate times are during pregnancy, when you're keeping one-day vows, and so forth.
다 삼바들라 간다 안디시다 안녕무도 그노스 대화를 지바치죠.
So for attitudes, then there are three. Then one is discernment or perceptions. The second one is mental afflictions and motivations.
안디시들은 아주 두알에 간다 데라 안디시 분디시 마토치 우리에서 이들도 없어. 두알과 단 두알은 마찬가지 감발라 이시 좀 지바치장에 해서 지바치자 참고해서 단 젠들에 다 랑기 인디키 긴지 좀 괜찮으나 내가 좀 말했어. 이 주말에 데레시 주말 이제시나 슈발라다 간다. 문주가 승리식으로 해서다 도시로로.
So regarding the perceptions, there are two ways of saying. So according to Vinaya, then states that in the case of a defeat of impure conduct, then it is the same whether the discernment is mistaken or non-mistaken. Then the second way of saying is according to the treasury of Abhidhamma, auto commentary, explains that if you approach someone else's wife, perceiving hers to be yours, and this will not constitute the path of action under the discussions.
단 영문들의 지발에 다시 공부 시반하시 다 간단도자 여기 해당하는 부모들과 대선 같이 지장을 다 공모들라 간다. 먼저 기본적이 주인들이들과 다 주원 되라 대테나 좋아. 그 타도는 간단히 지니 제와시 되고.
So the mental afflictions can be any of the three poisons as mentioned just now. You can commit such negative actions out of attachment or anger or ignorance. And the motivation is the desire for sexual intercourse. And the performance is striving for that goal. And the completion is two joining with each other.
다 뒤질라 가지고 다 진도 많이 실린다고. 다 진도 많이 실리라. 다 가지고 나기 레고로와. 다 간다 리지레서 로사로와. 다 리지레서 다 나기 레시로와. 다 나기 신호 담보지 참마치도 마차시와. 다 담보지 마시로와.
So So under physical actions, and there are three. So we have already discussed the three physical actions in the context of 10 non-virtuous actions. Then now we are going to talk about lying. So which is one of the verbal actions. So there are four verbal actions. The first one is lying. The second one is divisive speech. The third one is harsh speech. And the last one is idle talk.
다 간다 지메 시들랑 가서 니샤고와 다 니들 간다 통화다 미기 통화 나이 퇴바 와 다 나다 지 리선지와 나지 리선지 수수지 된다 나이네 정말 용어들와 나이 정말 용어 리지레자 용어 와 나지 좋아하는 용어들와 좋아하는 용어 예수 제가 시바스 들고 제가 시바 다 넘버 시바 다 소화 되도 와서 같은 거 아니 요거 넘버 시바 돼 니루 시바 요래 소화 되도 시바 요래 that's number 시바 지나 야 하고 와
니루 시바로 네 시바세
니즈 시바 또 다 니즈 시바 또 시바다 마 시바 다도 니데 도쇼들에 간다 아무 통화 미기 통화라 마 통화지 같아 니 차서 나이 퇴발라 마트에서 퇴발 마트가 미쳐서 어디에 지혜를 받으러 지마서시.
So there are two bases of lying. So there are two bases. So the first set of basis of lying. So there are four that which one has seen, heard, differentiated, or understood, as well as there are four opposites. So there are two sets here. So the first set, there are four that which are seen, heard, differentiated, and understood. And the second set is its opposites. So talk about the first one, that which one has seen is the thing that you have seen with your eye. And the second one is the things that you have heard with your ears. And under differentiated, it can be divided into three. That is the smell that you have experienced or apprehended by your nose, and the things that the tangible objects that you have touched or physically your body have touched, and the taste that is experienced by your tongue. So under differentiated, again, there are 3 divisions. So it refers to our nose, our tongue, and our body. So the things that you have apprehended or experienced in relation to its respective object. And understood. So understood is, like, for example, the things that you have known, that you have known or understood, then that comes under understood. So as well as 4 opposites is the things that you have not seen, the things that you have not heard, etc. So the objects are understood is the meaning understood by the other person. So the lies you tell then must be understood by another person's, right? Because some person you lie to a person, but the person's for example got ear impairment or etc. Then cannot listen, cannot hear what you say. Then there is another different saying, and then it's not necessary by saying it. Like it could be through your physical gesture or your face expressions, and the person understood the meaning of your lie, and also become ones of lying as well. The object understood. The object is understood.
That's somebody like another. That's somebody like in the heat
Under attitudes, there are 3 divisions: discernment or perceptions, mental afflictions, and motivation.
Then the heat of
So perceptions basically is to change things that what you have heard then into something. Then you say that you didn't hear it, and something that you didn't hear it, then you say that you heard about it. So afflictions. So afflictions again, attachment, anger, ignorance. Then we could lie out of attachment. Like for example, we go to a shopping mall and then you see things that you like it very much, but there is only one. So another person is going to buy it. Then you tell the person that there's another one like this. Another better one like this downstairs, so you can go and get it. So then the person understood it, then and go and get it. Then you create a negative actions of lying.
De Magasuda, De Kayachi, Dunina, Yabu Maris, Philippe, Jane, the Jugunes, Foundation Damaget, the Shiloba Jenny, Nization, that tell us Colmato here, or indeed a chebade, that on the Hedani chip, Hedani chip, this and this chow.
Then we could lie out of anger. For example, if a person is going to buy a car that is going to be very beneficial for his business, expanding his business, etc., then because you don't like the person, one of your enemy, for example, then you start to tell the person, you lie to the person saying that this car is not good. Then you give all sorts of reason saying that buying this is a wrong decisions and etc. Then one create a negative karma of lying out of anger.
다 뚜물을 집이 진들와 다 뚜물을 집을 진데 간다 연자들의 장수가 장수 가시게 내가 진로바이나 동화다 내밖에 좀 말해서 진로바이나 뭐 장수 가시게 진로바이나 동화 내가 지금 말 디바 사고 말해서 뭐 딘디 노를 텔라 덴바소네 텔라 덴바소네 지마와이나 뭐다 뚜무와 지 사디 차원
장수이나 답디나 디가서 가리시
시당 가서 이제 강사 제답 가시 강사 제답 가시기로와 되는 다시로 받는 데가 되는 여러 시로 봐 시로 받는 게 안에 내가 하나 지라와이나 동안에 내가 지금 말해서 그래요 다도 솔라 덴바스네 그 지마바이나 다 뚜무네 그럼 니치도 미누도 마시 동게 그 덴바스네 지마르와 어디 지마서 다 지마이 뭐 리고 간다.
Then we could lie out of ignorance. Like for example, some non-Buddhists, for example, some non-Buddhists, they proclaim to their followers that if you tell lie, then it is not a negativity. You will not create a negative karma of lying, etc. So then the followers listen to it and then regard it as truth, and then they tell lies. Then this is lying out of ignorance because they do not know. They lie without knowing the reality.
다 그는 미치지데 만데와 들어와 다 지로 군두 사태기 상황타네 상황 양디야데 돈에 데퍼 마야 들어와 미치지 들어와 만데와 들어와 그는 다 진데 리로 군두 지미라 리치 군두 만다 야부 요고 마세 야부 요고 마레세 요고 미두세 다 리로 군두 사태기 그는 들어와 만데와.
So motivations is basically you desire to lie. So to lie about this and that, to lie in this way or that way. For example, the things is good, but then you lie about it being not good and etc.
다 좋아들어와. 당연히 시는 거서 상반은 거서 다 좋아 선바 좋아들어와. 다 좋아든데 간다. 정모모 수수도 나도 말어봐이나 나도 말어봐. 리긴나주 때보다 미다체는 가서 뜻이 요러다. 그래서 미기다테네 미기다테네 되게 바로 그때 거야. 진행을 되고 하지다. 나 리긴나주 때는 나다치네. 되고 해. 되게 좀 진거야. 내 요러와. 다 된다 바로 그때 거기 뜻어서 민고보다는 근데 진로디 진행이 봐 차고와. 그 랑다 이 간리기 체도 진로바이나 간다. 진행이 봐 리기 해서 그와. 진다 참마 치주 so join and the Jibaja is that Zino at the Hina Lotubada, Hina Lotuba, so Lobaina, the Chama that Chisu, Zin, Shendala, Johnny, Nature, Susu, Maleba, Shendala, Checha, Negakubaina, that is what Jiba Liver has a Chisun Liver is or never Jiba Liver is or Chama Chisu.
So performance with regard to lying, that basically is the way you lie. So you can tell the lies to tell the lies to another person. So verbally, or you can also not saying anything, but through your physical gestures or through your hand movement, etc. Then you signal the persons, and the persons understand the meanings that you wanted to lie about, then it becomes a negative karma of lying. So lying, divisive speech, or harsh speech. So for yourself, or even if you get someone else to do it, then it's the same. So even though you ask someone else to tell lies, then the person who gives the order also creates a negative karma of lying as well.
먼저 시가라 간다 쪼이나 희나 쪼와가 디카다 스티바이나 대랑주가 지발 했어 거로 단 노래 간다 더도 비동아 지제발 랑김내 가지고 우리에서 and the world is a tambuchi.
So again, there are two ways of saying. So according to the root text and auto commentary of the Treasury of Abhidhamma, say that all four non-virtues associated with speech become paths of action when you get someone else to perform them. So the second way of saying it is, according to Vinaya, say that in order to produce a complete infraction, then you yourself must speak. So so the way asserted in the Vinaya text is more strict than the explanations in the Treasury of Abhidhamma.
다 다들 바로 그때 고아서 좋아. 바로 그때 고아래. 바로 그까지 되는 마고 바이나 대 나차 장도 좋아래. 이제도 시에도 세고라. 참마다 진짜 집까지 정리했지. 와. 어디 간다 타투 가서 지마이 시대 간다 타투데 간다 바로 그때 고아지 그래서 대 마고 바이나 대 나차도 집까 참고 그래. 나차서 이제 바로 그때 고아가 개요로. 나차가 내가 들리고요.
So the completion is the person understood the meaning. So it is being understood by another person's, then it becomes a line. So if another person do not understand the meaning, then it will become an idle talk. So it becomes merely an idle talk, because for something to become an idle talk, then the object is not necessarily understood by another person.
당어서 나게 진들도 사실 신을 봐. 다 참아들어. 다 참아 신의 신진 팀바도 못 팀바도 소리 해서 와. 다 참아 진짜 들어와. 무슨 신진 팀바도 못 팀바서야. 못 팀바도 하바로 못 팀바서야. 들어와. 네 시대.
So divisive speech, the second verbal negative actions, and the basis is sentient beings who are in agreement or in disagreement with each other. So for those who are in agreement, then you cause this disagreement among them, and those who are in disagreement already, then you create even more disagreement among the group.
다 삼바들랑아서 집어지잖아요. 인디시 메모 공성과 인디시 메모 공성 집어치와.
So under attitudes is similar to the previous one. So there are three divisions: discernment, motivations, and mental afflictions.
다 집어신 디시는 다시 공대시바나 시르와 이 집어신 디시만도 다 뉴무스와들다 송여를 대화하는데 내가 시다 무슨여와.
So discernment is similar to the above one, and mental afflictions also similar to the previous one. It could be out of attachment, anger, or ignorance.
다 간다 맞아 참아들와 참아듣는 걸 지단 받지 시기는 맞아 참아서야 되는 맞아 문팀바 진보 여바이나 네가 문팀바 써야 되와 문팀바 써야 돼 문팀바 써야 돼 이 참아도 시험이 깨차 장보시나 참아를 리고 그런 문팀바 깨차 장보 많이 받지나 때 참아 이해와 참아도 진리가 내와 깨차 장보 시바이나 주는 거 말와 주는 거 말이나 참아는 거 그래서 그러니 문팀바 써야게 레지야 들어와 참았으나 너네 지금 니 조보니나 니 손바되게 그런 신다지 조보나 거기 니 조보든데 미드듯이 그 로지시바이나 술래네 참 현다들 봐 저랑 그 들이 로그도 있으네 거기에 너야 뭐니 랍서와 너네 라 거기에 쓰시고 니나 그러니 마실 마티바 참 들어와 어디 참았들 간다 덴바 뭐이나라 주이나라 니가 집발이 네가 뭐 네가 참이 네가 집어지잖아 했어
기자 당부 민마이나 양 참아차게 준차게 되게
주인 당부 많이 받 제바이나로 당부 많이 받 참아 시바이나 나 진짜 참아 네가 참아 네가 참아 나 당부 시바이나 주인 참아 참아
Yeah, so for divisive speech, as mentioned, the basis is those who are in agreement or those who are in disagreement with each other. So, like for example, there are two friends. So two friends and another person. So, friend A say something bad about friend B. So and the friend C heard about it, and the friend C go and tell friend B that, oh, friend A talk something bad about you. Then in reality, friend A really thought something bad about friend B, and since friend C, wish to wish to create disagreement among these two friends, then friend C creates a negative karma of divisive speech, though friend A really did say something about friend B. So then the friend C created a negative karma of divisive speech, but it doesn't create any negative karma of telling lies. In another cases, friend A didn't say anything bad about friend B. Friend C go and tell friend B that friend A talked something bad about you. Then this friend C creates a negative karma of divisive speech, and these two friends, as it becomes disagree with each other, and friend C creates a negative karma of divisive speech and telling lies together.
这帮你找不到，那第一处是吧？处的系统是吧？你找不到，那么的牛木的新的人多，脾气的牛木的些不多，牛木的了的，那这些的都是大家记不记的是吧
？So mental afflictions is same as above, yeah. Could be out of attachment, ignorance, or anger.
第一成家阶段是你就要干多人多。
Yeah, that's true.
对，但牛木讲的，留下来长毛协当就是吧？留下来长毛协当的，那让给做过，也不去那，要不然那是都一切在这呢，你现在去被长不听不要不结果都呢，但对的问题不是长毛是的，留下来是吧？说干啥做过一呢，做么一呢，要不一呢，那可能你现在知道，也做么可能那个不结果都呢，要不结果平时这要不都呢，那可能问题不是的，长毛是毛的看的，留下来几个长毛的。
可是的搞不起有嘞。
可能也不结果，所以要不做不干啥，做过一呢，干啥也不去要不呢，但可能现在知道，那么多，长不也不是不长的呢，听不也不是长的，可能你问题不是，可能你问题不是长么些，
长不差了的，我认为。
可能你长不没不是，但说人家解释呢，就俺说不干啥做不也不就是吧，你说干啥也不的，你现在就来被长不也不是不长呢，那说的被他人不长个听的，
对，
你等你把问题不是呀，你留下来几个长么的来他看的，留下来介绍说不干啥几了，也不得你现在了，你就要被抢了，说让这个那个抢个热情，你得来看的。
So divisive speech out of attachment I didn't mention just now. So for example, there are two persons, there are two friends and another friend. So one friend A and friend B, friend C. So friend C is the good friend of friend A, and this friend A is also a good friend of friend B. So this person like friend A very much. So if these two, friend A and friend B, if they become very close, then friend C might, friend A might, will not spend much time with friend C anymore. So the friend C then go and create, to say something to friend A or friend A and friend B to create disagreement among these two. Then the person creates a negative karma of telling divisive speech out of attachment.
在写当的几个长嘛是吧？在写当几个长嘛是那地里看到，说马个是个这球了，马个是这地的，可能没写到，可能个主播你强不要呢，但可能你问题不是的，说马个是这地个主播你问题不是的，我长嘛是地里写当的几个长嘛是的。
Divisive speech out of anger. So friend A and friend A, B, C same. So friend A and B, good friend. So friends, another person, C person, do not like friend A, for example. Then they create disagreement between these. Then by saying it, for example, then it creates the negative karma of divisive speech out of anger.
但动物的结果是，但现在平时被听过你的，说给被人的问题吧是呢，年巴要不马西吧，但年巴要不马西吧，就是等这个看到长马西的问题吧是的，但动物的结果是，我的等这就不能穿的是吧
？So divisive speech out of ignorance is friend A and friend B, good friend, and then another person go and create disagreement between these two. Then the C person do not know that by creating a disagreement between these two is a negativity. So this is how divisive speech is created out of ignorance.
다들 군호의 대신진 팀발라 이해돼 보다 팀발라 문도 본데 다들이 간단 팀바 야고진도 너무 팀바스야 근데 봐도야 팀바진다 치도 못 팀바스야 와 어쨌든지 군호들이 다 간다.
So the motivations is the desire to divide sentient beings who are in agreement, and the desire for those who are in disagreement already, then not to be reconciled or create even a bigger disagreement among them.
다 조화다 이질러 사장이 바리 디진 투도와 조화의 간다 이질러 사다 디티바리 덴바다 메디 시컨디 제바이다 신님이 신님보지 간디 러바이나 간다 바로 번 미니들이 와 간다 문티바스야기 신님보다 지주보다 간디 러바이나 장보 시바다 와 장보 많이 바 시바이나 간디지나 코로니 문티바스야기 시잖아
Yeah, so regarding performance is what I mentioned just now. So basically, you wish to create disagreement among the group who are in agreement. Then you say either you say some pleasant things to the person, or you say unpleasant things to the person, or whether you tell the truth or whether you tell a lie among the group who are in agreement or who are not in agreement. So basically, it's wish to divide them, then that is the performance, the factors of performance in divisive speech. So the way of you saying it, either pleasant or not pleasant words, truth or false, or etc. So basically, you wish to divide them, then you say it, then it becomes a performance of divisive speech. So the completion factors is the divisive words uttered having been understood.
다 지주마시데 군나시 지시지 비신지 다 수수 군 나가사다 수수 군조 제사다 그러와 리기 비신지 지금 지주마사기 시대 다 수수 간다 민통마자 수수 군조 제사다 수수 민통의 수수 나가사 안조 고의 수수 나가사 리지라 신도번에 리지를 그러와.
So next is harsh speech. So the basis of harsh speech is a sentient being who has become the causal basis of a hostile intent arising in you. So basically, is the basis, is the person or the basis that you don't like. So, or is the basis that by seeing it or by hearing about it, then you become angry. So basically, is the basis that hostility arising in you, to which that hostility arising in you. So attitude, discernment, mental afflictions, and motivations is the same. So discernment, unmistaken perceptions is required, and mental afflictions is the same as above, out of ignorance, anger, or attachment.
수수다 배로와 카트야 디기 배 도비원기 근데 이 현아 바간다 지지고 마야 현아 지지고 봐
신기 카타 장기 코니 디 신기 카타야
랑 코데 미 현대 지게 랑 코데 랑다 카트야 카트야 그 럽장이 바지고 우선 럽장이 바지야 디기 배 수수 도바치네 이 도바치네 현대들 바 지지고 마야 지지고 마야 와
kaza shengi ini di kaza labjang yema di shie ne ini di susu ge ini di toba chie ne ini di parubo la ni di chikzup shia ro
다 수수로 배 내차를 제바서 수수고 dropo 수수 가사 야사 치로 와 이 수수를 야보 요 선자 수수 들레 시차요 와 괜찮디 미 현다 지기 다 수수 dropo 수수 무디 바서 도고 우사 도바 치리 딘네 현다 들레 치고 봐
that's right yeah so harsh speech out of attachment, like for example, a person, our friend or retinues or entourage. So, like for example, our friends or our relatives. So, to which we attach to which we have attachment. Then another person is trying to create a disagreement between me and my friend, for example. Then you know it. Then you go and scold the person, say harsh speech to the person. You go and because and parable and then to the persons that who are trying to create disagreement. Yeah. So you have attachment to your friends, right? And then another person trying to create disagreement between you and your friend, then you go and say rude words or bad words to the person who are trying to create a disagreement. Then that is how harsh speech is created out of attachment.
다 해당의 집이 지지되다 보게 버려요. 다 소소 이도 뭐 소소 마가자들 바로 버들 세나 내가 치마와티. 다 소소 마가자들 바로 세나 내가 치다 주보마야 들어와.
So harsh speech out of anger is very easy to understand. For example, a person that you don't like or your enemies, then you wish to harm his feeling. You wish to hurt his feeling, then you say unpleasant things or rude words to the person. Harsh speech out of ignorance. So by not knowing that telling harsh speech or harsh words will create is a negativities, then you say it. Then that is how harsh speech is created out of ignorance. You do not know that it is a negativities.
That's it. That some addition that this new could me for twice. Situla Roa Situbo Madela Tambo Chile Situboda Tambo machine at Situbo, you had any chebaki years.
So probably you all are sleeping already or dozing off. So I will pose the questions right now. So regarding harsh speech, so by telling a truth, by telling a truth or by telling a false, does it make any difference in the context of harsh speech? Harsh speech. You can unmute yourself and give the answer. So in the context of harsh speech, so if you say something,
Mila Tambushina Situ Nobura and Nomaris, Mila Tambushiba Kanga, teacher Tambo de la Situ Nobura and Nomarisco, but they don't know Mondona Mondos and Injections.
Yeah. So for example, if you tell truth to a person, does it become a harsh speech or not? So just answer yes or no.
Yes.
장보 시와이나 디 지수 차그레스.
정보신의 지수 가르쳐 그래서 관리자 차고 미 정보신의 지수 관리자 차고 그래서.
How?
Sometimes the truth can hurt the person, such as causing humiliation or embarrassment to the person. We can always tell the truth in a gentle manner, in the most skillful ways, so that the person do not feel offended or hurt.
야, 아니 디 가서 장보 시와이나 디 가서 허르볼라 아니 디 심뇌다고 찍디 요로와. 아니 디 심뇌기래서 아니 디 고차보다고 디 차그래서. 아니 가서 가서 장보 시고 요나 아니 가서 양디 장보기 토네 디 시야 요래서 탑케보디 지오래서.
장보들 신의 맨날 지수냐 말해야지. 지수도 말해서 배 샤시です. 배. 장보신의 지수냐 감이 우리 배 샤지시です.
장보 토네 시야로. Yeah, so how to tell a person in a gentle way because 직접 차야.
지수 간이라고 그랬어.
Yeah. 간디도 그래. Yeah. So how 가서 내 장보 토네 시야 내 직접 간디 차야.
지수 간이라고 그랬어. 배 샤시です.
Yeah. So then now you tell me, so if to tell a person in a gentle way, so how does it become harsh speech? 그 직수차게 말하와이라 공기 차내는 디 직수차게 말했어.
그 지수 말했어.
직수디 차게 말했어.
장보신의 지수 차고 말했어.
장보이나 디 가서 장보이네 레니 디 가서 심뉴야 장보이나 당 오차보디 디 차게로 바로 애니디 심 horrible de sim manuya da anything also the jambo ki thone anything de share your was design de 직접 맞춰야 된대로
맞지 정보진의 지수 여러 간 노를 너무 말해서 미치다 정보를 가서 지수 만들어 이거 말아 정보 시에바이네 지수를 넣어야 여러 가요 말해서 이게 그게 저거라 지당 가서 정보 시와도 매고 말아
정인데 심뇌기래서 오차보 차게래서 공기
지당 시든지 여러 말해서 그게 저거라 근데 여러 간디 샤고 해서 내 지수만의 지수부터는 정보 시에바이나 콜라네 간디 배 간디 샤고
정보 시에는 anything 직접 차야로
지수 간디 샤고
Yeah, so for example, I mean now you give me an example if telling a truth that will become harsh speech. Now give me an example.
Okay, example, I am an adopted child. My foster mother loves me a lot. Then one day my neighbor told me, "Do you know you are an adopted child?" You know, this is a very harsh speech. It actually torn me apart from my ideal world that I'm so much loved by my foster family. So it's a harsh speech, even it's the truth. I am an adopted child.
So, yeah. Na pinachana adopted child sa deni di ampugo de pawa meba chane. Eni yang ama shina ji eni di zingi yoro kashigi dabu kemi yoro. Eni di pugo de hama goba. Eni di amade kaza amade yang gabochi yore. Eni di kimje dabo ena. Eni di pugo de la eni kyangi kongi eni kyangi amade ngoni mares. Kyangi eni di kongi zimbare mado. Eni di pugo ngoni mares. Eni di kaza di chambo itoni ena di simnui resa.
So the evolutions good correct very good answer. Tapi shabaina chambo shine chitin dosa 저런게 부디 자파레샤스 농에 레샤스라나 정보로 자파는 농에 여바이나 저런 부디 자파레샤 농에 레샤스나 우연히 자파는 농에 여바이나 정보 시그릿 내려오라고라 시스템 보자는 거라 어디 가시라 안조연 저 공부 안조연 바이나 안조연 바리스 라바이나 정보로 가고 정보고 안조연 바 원내로 와
안조연 바세요
안조연 배 안조 보고 연바 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 저런 구구 연바리스 안조 연바리스 11 정보라고 안조 연방은이로 와 애들 라바이나 저런 연바리 라스나 정보에 대콜 내우라고 지지차는 거로 와 어디레시스 저런 내 아본 디스
Yeah, so well said. So yeah, another example, other example could be like a kid then it's very fat, or a kid has a face very ugly, for example. Though is true, and then you go and tell the kid's mother, for example, then your kids is very ugly or your kids is very fat. So though is the truth, but though it's true, but I say there are words that will harm others' feelings, hurt other feelings. So there is also one. There's one of the example as well. Or a kid is mute, then you go and tell his mother, for example, or your son is mute. Then though it's true, then but there are words that will hurt other feelings. So that will become a harsh speech.
당가서 군노 들어만 들어와. 다 군노도 나츠고 마야긴데 받으러와. 대빈 나오듯이. 다 좋아도 가서 되게 인치라서 좋았다니. 어머니 좋아도 만로미라. 다 좋아도 간다. 엠바다 엠바 간디 제마 바이나. 바로 보다 간다. 문이 밤마 바이나. 근데 대나 세는 바치 라잖아. 치두고 차는 거죠. 세네와. 세는 바치 라잖아. 디로다 된다 못에 거리 리전 스디션. 다 간디나 간다. 지 콜라고에니스 준 연조도 봐 준의 제가 이나 대간다 치주 차는です미겐 준 면조 바지 다 미어마라 바지 맞아 수도 지원을 준 면조 미어마 다 여바이나 저는 준의 누세나 대코 너로로 저는 미 꼬마 인기지를 저랑 꼬마리슬라는 누구라고 이제 집어라
꼬마리사
꼬마 꾸지게 꼬마질라 저랑 꼬마리슬라이나 담보리도 걸 내우라지
So motivation is the wish to say harsh speech, and the performance is speaking unpleasantly or whether truthfully or falsely. So there is the questions that I asked related to the questions that I asked you just now. So either you say pleasantly or unpleasantly, you say truthfully or falsely, and about another person's faults associated with his lineage, bodies, ethics, or behavior. So then basically everyone's living in this world, they more or less have faults, So then you go and criticize them. Then, like for example, even though the person is a thief, then you go and say to the person that you are a thief. So though it's true, but it also become a harsh speech because it hurts the feeling, hurt his feeling.
다들 당아서 딩다로 다투다 지쯤매가 되는데 고아들어
The completion is the one to whom it was said understand the meaning.
그래서 지주도 지나가서 지주배 군노도 매바이나 매바지고를 나서 근데 상바 지와 다도 창나서 다 지주가 내가 강아 조수기제 시고 와 이렇게 시고를 지나가서 배 군노도 창산 창고 말이야 지다 매바지를 창산 창고 와 달래랑이 시집배 창상지 지와서 나디 시고 와
So here it talks about basis, attitudes, performance, and completions. So in this context, it talks about how it becomes a complete harsh speech. So, however, for something to become a harsh speech, it doesn't require all of these factors. So even though absence of some factors, then it can become negativities as well.
다디 디제라 다들이 망차들 다 시바스 망차들와 다 망차들 다 시상바지와 다도 시시 집발와 디어스
So idle talk, then again 4 factors: basis, attitude, performance, and completion.
다 시들라 개묘라 디비 된서 다 된다게 요마르지 시라 망차 마사기 시드 된다게 요마라 안도신 도시 시에 당하다 랑바다 코케체 초문데 남다 So
the basis for idle talk is a meaningless topic. For example, even singing could be is one of the idle talk can become idle talk as well. Or you say all sorts of nonsense or have a nonsense conversations, meaningless conversations, then it also becomes idle talk.
그리고 소요로 어디에 대화를 집어치고 디신다 되는 디시 바시 저한테 디시페 어번 디시 디자스트리
Yeah. So attitudes, then three divisions: discernment, mental afflictions, and motivations. So discernment is discerning that as that.
더 나자들 고사가 유디 그 말에서 코소소 나자 제ත나 네바들이 걸서와 바로 그 인지미지 보고 다시 가서 주의해서 고사 유지 구로와 유지 구로다 단단들 미스 나자들 소소 러서디 네바 제레마도 보고야 개요 말에서 가지고 얘들아.
So for idle talk, how to say, the meaning, it doesn't require the doesn't require the other person's understand the meaning or understand what you are trying to say. So for telling lies, for divisive speech, etc., then the recipient understand the meaning is recipient understanding the meaning is required. However, for idle talk, recipient understanding the meaning is not required.
다들 녀무도 소에다 녀무 대차시다 뜻무서 집어지잖아요. 다 간단 대차를 마차대 대차를 집에 마차들와 단 대차를 집에 마차됐다 차신적으로 차신적으로 뜻 노다 주는 오실라서 소리 장자 계시. 앞에 하진 차신적으로 주는 원칙 기재 장자 시대에는 르렘바도 사마다다 간단 대차를 집에 해서
So mental afflictions, same as above. There are three: attachment, anger, and ignorance. So idle talk out of attachment, for example, out of great attachment, then you keep talking about wealth, you keep talking about money. So that is idle talk out of attachment.
당 완차되게 간다 해당의 집에 완차되와 다 해당 집에 완차되 간다 소소 마가서 믿으라 킨지체레 되게 꾀장냐가 제니게 들어와 다 소소 전부만 뒤에 정바이나 그런 앞에 지열의 니열스는 다 꾀장냐가 신이게 되 간다 해당하고 해당하고 되셔와 해당의 집에 되셔.
So idle talk out of anger, for example, you don't like a person, then out of anger, then you keep talking about the person's fault. You keep criticizing the persons, and you also become an idle talk.
다 뚜물의 집에 네 나차들과 뚜물 집에 나차세와 다 뒤에 배나 시로비 땡제모 디비 땡제에서 로바다 배 시로비 숑도서다 배와 태성고도 집이나 섭배 시로이나 소세나 시사는 거래서 든디게 있는 마신게로와 소세나 시사는 거래서 대 나시가다 뚜물 집에 나차로와.
So idle talk out of ignorance, like for example, then you keep reading the treatises of non-Buddhist treatises. You keep reading about it, and then you think that, oh, I'm going to create or accumulate lots of merits. So have this thought, then you read a lot about non-Buddhist treatises. And since you do not know about the reality, then this is how idle talk is created out of ignorance.
딱 그거는 가다 컨텐츠 바카도 로제들의 컨텐츠라고 시. 이놈 때 만디 쇼자만 돼서 가르파 런던에 나지. 그놈 바로 런던에 나지. 다 좋아하는 뭐지 나마 좀 받으러. 그 타도는 맞아 마신 받으러. 랍세디다 망아차 로서 마신 받으러. 맞죠.
So the motivation is the desire to express whatever random thoughts occur. So basically to say whatever things that you want to say, and the performance is starting to utter the idle talk, and the completion is you finish the idle talk.
당어서 되다 다 이지 내지스로와 다 이지 레슨 다 나시 담은 나시로와 다 나시가 간다 시선바 주어도 시여가 집어지잖아.
So then covetousness is one of the mental actions. So covetousness.
Can ask previous page the idle talk. Yeah, Keshila, it said that it doesn't need anyone to understand in the under attitude. Yeah, so idle talk do not need an audience. Can idle talk be committed when one just talking randomly alone, like just saying meaningless things, because the completion is you do not need anyone to understand it. Can we do idle talk alone without another person?
바로 고세 유대 고마로 아이실라. di ngagala ngagala ni di cosa yu de komaro pena cheshina su la kiche shigi yora kashigi su la kiche
Ritombalan, Miss Country Messana, Charlie Shetan,
anything I get charo
Combatumba, the Misty Country Menatan, Shetan, and Chacharo.
Yeah, so yeah, even though there is no audience, then talking nonsense to oneself or singing song in the house or singing songs in the mountains where there is no people around, then that also become idle talk.
Singing song cannot entertaining ourselves.
Kita di kasa ngaki di cari roi lah. Ini di yeah, so if you sing out of attachment, then is how other talk is created out of attachment. Yeah.
Yeah, the mission that ko Shetan, we kashi se chibo so ya che de tamba ina ya chawo ju marisko. Mission the simba machi ba de chana ko de se chibo so ya che de ya de tamba ina ya do ju marisko.
You can marry and then do marry lah. Yeah, so if a person, like for example, you see your friends is very unhappy, then you sing a song to make your friend happy, then it doesn't become an idle talk.
Who has a question?
Yes, I'd like to ask the question. It says that the basis of idle talk is a meaningless topic. So does the word meaningless refer to worldly topic? I mean, for example, politics. So it's not meaningless because it affects our daily life, but it is worldly. So does that qualify as the basis of idle talk?
Kishla ini di kasa ngagi isi ina di theme ba ro ro aja. Theme ba ro ina pina cha di inji kasa pina cha na so kasa sinjing gi kola. Chapsi gi kola. Chapsi gi kola di shigi yo na ini di kasa theme ba ma ro as. Them in kainzina di chapsi gi kola shigi yo na ini kasa chapsi gi nga so susu gi mi seki ran da wo ini di shugen tegi ro. ini di ini data jidengi jidenbe kechaare maado ini di theme ba de chage marwas kisi di chapsi di shegi yona ini di ngagi chage res
tida nganchala pe ngepa de tenda demba je ru mares tenda de
tenda dem
tenda ba de dembi tenda so nganchala se wala ngepa de ko she se shida bo jin da tenda ni ji ru mare ji tenda re ma tida nganchala yiche kangala temeda dengu gu maris dike chamaris nganchala inji mi tenda demba ju gu maris di tenda ris de temeba demba se droa
tenda demba meba gu mare
temeba da dembi tenda ose nganchala shiso droa shiso da ngazu chida ngazu desu chasi ke je share desu ni suara ngazu shedan le je bada bacha le je bada suya ngacha diwa control le je suya ngacha desu chibe chida ngazu nga chashi sagi shide nga tenda temba chikuya mara nga cha chigri ese tepa masa mata tsije ora matala nga cha tere chidape nga pada tenda temba chikuya mara shide nga paje
tenda temba ina yandi tenda temba ina
shide nga paje gu mara ese kala tere shide pige pe kosa enjo ke shide nga pa gu mara ese ora nga cha pa masa shide
kosa yude right
kosa yidam ko da
kosa yude kasa
da kosa yidam bu ni ne pa da kosa da bu ma yeso da tembe da tembe ba tembe tan o so ma cha ma sa shide ma cha ma sa shide ne pa da ko bu ke shi bu ma yeso
tönyu ba yan jire tönme ba ina yan jire
tembe ba da ma cha lu re yeso
tönme ba ina dinga ke dogi re ni tönyu ba ina dinga ke dogi re
dedan do da ya ba jina ma cha lu ro wa
tönyu ba da ho ina yan ga ke dogi re pena cha na chapsi ro re
da chasi da ba jina da da so dis ja ma chasi ni she yang ma so jina wo de she da sang tang da de yang jo cha ma lo dang ji ro cha ma lo de di che ba yo jing ni
da da de kasa shi de ni de tönme ba ina di ma tha res ini di töntan de ba ina di yang ga ki chasi cha ki ro jo yo ro
temela demba se de pa ngacha chesa gi shite la haro chesa gi shite ne pa yo mare se la
yude re kosa yude
kosa yude ne pa yo mare se
das kasa aso 写当然的米基不写当然的我
这某个就是说几个被了查实我们写当的呢我不是给要嘛写给要嘛你等等到给要嘛的时候等到或者没现在是刚进一切的就当要嘛的时候
yeah so regarding the idle talk, the basis of the idle talk is a meaningless topic. So that is it's like the least required how to say. So a meaningless topic can become an idle talk. A meaningful topic can become an idle talk as well. So meaningless topic is like the least requirement that if you say something meaningless topic, then it becomes an idle talk. But topic with meaning then can become an idle talk as well. So then the persons, the recipient or another person that you talk to then is not really required, like for example singing song. Then it because turn you about what shaky and the young Yeah, for example, idle talk out of anger is you keep criticizing the persons that you don't like, you keep talking about the faults of the enemies, then that also become an idle talk as well. So you criticize the faults, then those are not meaningless. Yeah, so it is with meaning.
So magasa dela kogu marisko. So magasa digi chunchi so magasa dela kogu yo marisko. Dela kogu mare hendal chila shede divorsko. Ode the time about the David Eswa. Nepa ngacha den dosala so magasa mi dela chunchi la dikicha mi digi kogu marisko. Di kogu mare hendal chila chunchi yo ni yo sin hendal chila shede na. Di chunchi shedan chiba ngacha den uyers.
Yeah, so like for example, you don't like a person, the enemies, then you tell your friends, you criticize the faults of your enemy with your friends, then that also become an idle talk out of anger.
Ken, since we are having some questions on the aspect of talk, can I ask a question? For example, a comedian is someone who entertains people by telling stories, by jokes. Sometimes true, sometimes not true, but people understand it to be not true anyway, because I mean, they know the comedian is just out there as an entertainment and he's just telling a story. People listen, people believe, and people laugh, but they know it's not true. So does the comedian then still create the karma of lying and idle talk?
So Kishla, comedians say they need to make legal the Nigeria Dajala. And it because the mission land Kibosoya the chop we are chop we are chop cholaya de legaji Musarida. And it chop line in the chop lang end away na any mission line is chop the job in the Shene, any Kashi and Demba, Kashi and Demba Mari, any dear Kashi and Demba Minele, in Ying and Awena, Ying and Kunzo and the Demba Yimba and the Kaza Yichi Yoresa. In Yichi Yore, any day Kaza Kimoshone, any day Jela and the Kazangoni Maimba, any the Hagu Yores. Kazatam, Yendu need the one at the Kemosho Yore, any day Demba Maimba, any the Shin Yores, any day Chopkungen, Chopkungen de Junshigi Yores, the Kazangaki the Shigi Yores.
That Chopuni Kurangi, me part of the Gangi change to Solape, Gangi de Padoyata, Simba Shibu Soyata, Tindigi Chohon de Vaina, and so Machale can do Maritim.
Is it the meeting Gangi material?
That's also Musa Cheda, Susu Longi Cheda. The new Gunu Chokina, they want a child of Chagras, Susope, Benjo Longi Cheda, Susope, Longisa Cheda. Indeed, Jevana Maja Chalo.
Miti, because Kibo Mena and the Kibo so I
got Chibo said the Ligiche, and some of the Southern Maja can do is much long day. Uno Sambuji Midipa, Chibo said, be much but the Chibo you want to say it.
Any did in Chagrin. Chop 촉구야 돼 촉대 다시 이런 데마 요래 다시 이런 데마 요마 이 주년치 요마
어디 자고 말했어. 이 소소 가서 담보 그거다 미유들 딱 상당하고 있어. 그거다 미유들 상당하고 있어.
So it depends on the motivations and the recipients of the joke. If the comedians have the motivations to, make the persons happy, because he, for example, a comedian knows that the person is not happy, then trying to make the persons happy and then tell jokes to the persons, then it doesn't become idle talk, and then it doesn't become a lie, even though the joke is not true. So it depends on the motivations, and also depends on the recipient as well. So if the comedians has the motivations to create, to earn more monies, to have a better, resources in object of enjoyment in his life, then and tell a joke, then that becomes a idle talk.
Thank you.
Teshila, can I ask a question, Ken? Yeah, I'm just wondering about the singing, because for many cultures in the country, singing and opera and so on and drama is so much a part of the culture. Even in Tibetan culture, you promote the Tibetan opera. So if you don't have basic singing, singing starts from very basic songs, children's songs and so on. So if you to just say that singing is other non-dharmic songs is non-virtue, I do not understand how it fits into building up a culture of music. Are we saying then that the culture of music is wrong?
So this line is la da wena peba da wena kongso yan de kasa xie dan ye rikshong de yo ro ni ji ba zongba su su lai ne yang su su ge xie dan ye rikshong de yo de ni de kasa yang chue da ma de ye xie ji dan wai na ni de ni ba cha ye ro ji la mi ge wa ji de cha ye ro ni de kasa ni de xie dan de changma de ngaki de cha ye ro ji la de chue da ma de ye xie ji dan wai na
samang cha ye lo me sro 사망 안차를 줄로 해서 그 자생하게 된디 시에다바는 딩 안차 누구를 자생하게 배 시에 같이 담배나 안차라 누구랬어 다내 마이 밥에 다 신다배 강에 체를 발배 셈바 강에 체를 발라 다 코페 손주를 체를 비배 누구 그바이나 양 안차 누구 지금 누구서 제발 이제 지금 들어
So I'm not saying that all types of singing song is idle talk. So like for example, singing song out of great attachment, then that will become a idle talk. But if you sing song trying to make the person's happy, because the person has difficulties, very sad, then you're trying to make the person's happy, and then you sing a song, then I don't think that will become an idle talk.
드림이 시에 땅나 시에 땅나 되게 간다 오늘 같이 정보이나 창사배 되리 원보 진제다 원보 제시다 냠다도 저거 받치야지 저거 받치지 치야 인데 드림이 시에 땅에 빼셔 같이 내바이나 코솔배 받치야지 니 땅바이나 내가 저배 안착이 내발라 같이 지금 맞지 그래서 와 그래서 야 우는 그룹에 제가 요와
Yeah, so for example, singers are very famous, then sing song, and then whatever funds these singers collects, then he or she will use it for those persons in need of these monies, or those persons like, for example, those who have incomplete limbs, for example, handicapped, for example. Then whatever monies that I collect, the singers have this motivation. So whatever monies that I collect, then I will use it to help others. So if the singers has these motivations, then I don't think it will become an idle talk, because there is a big difference in terms of the motivations. Yeah.
Thank you.
그래서 와서 그로 제가 뭐 있어요. 제가 안자 세워도 제가 된다 그거 말했고 제가 거신 거에 장자 시대는 가서 누구 해서
Yeah, so in different contexts or in different cases, then it depends on the motivations, etc. So in general, when we talk about saying something nonsense, then it becomes an idle talk.
아시게 미지야 지도와 지지지레서 니레셔스 근데 장자 아시드나 어디서 나차레서 지다 그러와 미 지도 장자는 그런 때나 소야고 차고는 소야고 차고면도 거야 야본도 거야 보면도 근데 장자 아시든 지다 나차레서
So for example, in general, for example, if always very busybody with others things, or the person's business very good, the person's very bad, the business is not good, the person is very bad. So in general context, then all these are idle talk.
Nicola, Ken, in the aspect, in terms of the Dharma practitioner, someone who aspires for liberation, right? Now, anything that is contrary to the three principles of the past, especially the first one, renunciation. In other words, anything that we do which has an element of worldly concern, like attachment or whatever, then that will become a non-virtue. So that whatever idle talk that we do that pertains to worldly concerns, even like politics, is from the three principles of the past, from the aspect, is a non-virtue, isn't it? Can you ask Ishwara that?
근데 뒤집어 라보이나 디 타바디 가서 듣는 얘기요로 근데 뒤에 양 남존남숨 남존남숨라 강 도바 라보이나 디 참마 미기와 차기로 왔어 비나 차샤나 남존남숨 요로 디 가서 인중 장생당 야대비 다와려 근데 디 강롱지라 디 남수기 강치바디 강롱지라 당 도기요나 당 도바이나 애니디 미게와 차기로 와스 비나 차샤나 미게와 차기래 람존남순 강롱 라니 도기요나 도바 텔레도바 건다 텔레도바이나 애니디 미게와 차기로 와스 비나 차샤나 애니디 찹시 이고라 시기요나 애니디야 가자 미게와 차기로 와스 디데 차기나 찹시 이고라 시기요나 애니 미게와 차기로 와스
다 데미지 그제 시야들이 건다 가서 완자 세워대 체시고라 만부지 지도종 그와 다들 체시고라 시어디 공정하게 시원데 장하게 시와 해당하게 시야 들리지 내가
수수 공동다고 있나
들리지 말래가 된가서 체시고 그제 시스나 깔에 가고 그랬어 정부시나 뉴무스 뭐지 군지 말로보다 체시고 그제 시야 요즘 깔에 가고 이제 정도
체시고라
그제 시야 근데 예수가 만들고 체시고 그제 시야 깔에 가고 이제 그랬어
So in general, when we talk about politics, so it will become an idle talk. So why I'm saying that talking about politics will become an idle talk is because when we talk about politics, then it's either out of attachment, out of anger, or out of ignorance. So we talk about politics out of any of these three types of mental afflictions, and it is very difficult to talk about politics without without or any of these mental afflictions. So I think in general, when a person talking about politics, generally is idle talk. Anything yeah. So in general, then it also becomes a non-virtuous, non-virtue.
Geshe-la, yes. I have one question. In that case, can Geshe-la advise us what sort of topic, let's say a group of friends gather together, maybe some old friends, perhaps during in the Chinese New Year, or we gather together, then what sort of topic we should talk? Because look like, I would say, based on my memory, probably 99% of our talk is idle talk. Yeah.
In kind that susu ta ni di taji chigi na ni ngang so kang xie wa de mang chi wa ni dia cha gu gu na de nga ge cha re sa ni di pena cha na chobo da bo ni di zom ni ni pena cha na de lo sa da bo na de zom ni khai xi wo na de na
다 근데 참아 저부 참아 저리 참아 편지 찍기라로 봐야 뭐 저를 제보레스 다 정말 찌질해.
가르치오려고 이제라.
아.
가르치오래서.
가르치면서
좀 내미디 기자 시기오라.
제가 듣게 시디 펜스 찌질해 미슨다지나 냠다 가르이나
알레.
정말 펜스 찌질해 튕고치야다 로버치야다. 미슨다지는 튕고치버렸어. 미슨다지라 야고 치버렸어. 로버치버렸어. 쿤도사야 말 쿤도라야 말 든디집에 샤워 상부 치버렸어. 소시에드나 딜 하드 쉬었어.
이콜라시아로.
든디콜라시나 미 상부서고 내가 상부 치고야. 미 정부 치고야. 샤워 미 정부 내가 가리나 정부 치고 개청버렸어. 어려워. 셈바 상부 치고 개청버렸어. 와 미냐다 강이 치고도 될 로버 치고 개청버렸어. 밀라 너지야요 말했어. 다시 펜토마다 너자원 지야요 말했어. 나도 소시버렸어.
Yeah, so basically you can talk about anything that they makes people's like reconcile or who makes people who are in disagreement, so you reconcile them. You can talk something about it, then to reconcile them. Then you can talk something beneficial or helpful to another person. So for example, the person is in troubles or difficulties, then you can say something that is helpful for the persons. Then you can also give advice to another person who the persons always get angry. Then you can say that, oh, don't get angry. Then you give advice to the persons. Then you advise the persons to do good deeds. Then you advise the persons to become a better person or to do business or do work. Then to do it honestly. So you can say something like that. So if you cannot say anything beneficial to another person, at least you don't say anything that is harmful or hurtful.
在这段我说的，就是老三个他们说的，在这样子主要他们的不要不就是说，别我是记住的错那种，我就所以呢，我这段两个连续过来，连到主要什么是吧？的主要是要不的些是吧？所以呢，那这段我说，当我讲我说别你们七雄盲目有的是吧？七雄，我记得是七雄盲目有的是不？你们说七雄，别这段我说别是吧？给我那里看到，没了那个上班没，现在你看个别是吧？俺就他们别那些干没吧？伊呢，第一查也就的是吧？这给这查不是就的是吧？
俺给穷完了了，
俺就穷完了不？但伊那边。我说给这些个了，这亚瑟都是当中些人，对俺家的查生意修情不多的些呢。对牛牧生活的修情不多，把人对多的。但牛牧生活的修起来没办法了，对查的这个就是看到了吧？俺是就做了给这些个来好不吧？但牛牧生活修切穷个的，对俺是年把切穷的那个是吧？这当牛牧生活的对吧？那样修穷的就是那对查的这个是吧？对俺是年把穷就这么是个下把钱没拿不吧？
So, so all questions that you all have asked are very good because it's very related to our daily lives. And when we talk about idle talk, then there are different types of different intensity of idle talk as well. It can be a heavy idle talk, or it can be a light idle talk as well. So if we so if we tell a joke, for example, and if we do not have any motivations trying to harm the persons, then I think it is okay. So even if it becomes idle talk, then it would be a very small idle talk that can be very easily purified. So otherwise, we will find it very difficult to talk to another person or in these societies or communities. But if we were to criticize others, keep talking about their faults, for example, and since it is it always linked with a very strong mental afflictions, be it attachment, anger, or ignorance, then it will become a very strong idle talk. So this we have to differentiate. If we say even if we create an idle talk, then we have. When we create an idle talk, then we have to be very careful with its intensity as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yung Bing want to ask the outcome of the idle talk. I think we talked about in the view of Sharp Different, right? Nobody believe you, things like that. Want to ask consequence or outcome of the idle talk?
So ini ngagi jebu ina karing yungi jesa. Ngagi jebu. Ngagi jebu ina de karing yungi jesa ni di kaza junja kolo la ni di kaza cing mi jun ba rawo ni mi xian da yungi ma rawo kang xie jebu din yungi ka la ni kyang yi kang xie ba de ni di mi xian da din yungi ma rawo.
就是给这些事儿，没抢救没把这个抢救的是够，
抢救没。
미기 가자 지통매 봐. 지통매 봐. 소소 맞아 치치다데. 나 소소게 슈라 깨제시 미기 내가 장보지 레고나 미기 지통매 봐. 덴바 마소.
Yeah, so yeah, one of the result of idle talk is others do not have any regard for your words. They do not heed heed your words or pay attention to your words.
Yeah. That demand chido will make sense, so. That was the nothing to less one. That nothing she somebody water to teach you about Shichiro.
So next is covetousness. So again, there are 4 factors: basis, attitudes, performance, and completion.
That nothing she did la shinji no da yoji la so but this is
So the basis of covetousness is wealth or property of someone else.
That she did la kanda somebody la he did take over chiro. That somebody la in the shita in the mukunoshi.
So attitudes has 3 divisions: discernment, mental afflictions, and motivation.
That the shita la kanda jitila and the nursing case of the shit in the ship of chiro. You just like shit in the ship. That numudra and the shita to Musuba chiro.
So the discernment consists in an accurate discernment of that basis. So referring to that. And then the mental afflictions is any of the 3 poisons: attachment, anger, or ignorance.
Nasi numudra Yumusum according to the challenge. Nothing the challenge, but la Shinji Yojela Chani, de Tobandeba. Nasi in the challenge, but that change in a longe or that longe, Kandala in a kind of de Tobandeba. Tobandeba, then nothing the challenge.
So covetousness out of attachment. For example, you see others' resources, and then you also wish to get it. You also wish to get it. Then that is covetousness out of attachment.
Then nothing she don't need to was water. She don't also control manage somebody. She not manage something. That she not manage something. Part of Magaza Betty Yoji, Jala Karina. This is all like children number 0.
So covetousness out of anger, for example, you wish to hurt another person, then in your mind, then you desire to get his wealth or property.
Then Nasi la name the Tumuli Chibadra, Nasi Tumula Chibukanda, Nasi Drua. But they can't Nasi never made us only. Yemis in the change you dog with Toba Chuchi, Tonachima, the Nipe, and Nasi was a Yemis Samantha, never made a Samantani, the Nipe, Shinda Vichala, the Tangarana Peretonet, and Yebanki Yomari, to dig some about it. That and Tumuchi Nasi.
Covetousness out of ignorance is you think that is not a negativities, then you develop the desire to get what is owned by others, so that wealth or property of someone else. Then you have this thought like, oh, may I get what he owns? Then thinking that is thinking that this is not a negativities, then this is covetousness out of ignorance.
That Nasi, that dark shower and Devatra. That he in the long chick candy at this also shower in the body, Susulape, Junawa,
So the motivations is the desire to make it one's own.
That Joa is that Jinji Yoji lost about that somebody couldn't make a good temate. That's something tangled so much. That is also with Tashi so much.
So the performance is striving for the object of that thought.
That tattoo the no Yoji can eat that dog with Chuji number. That day, some of the contact.
Completion is the thought, may this wealth and so forth be mine. So if we have this covetousness complete with basis, attitudes, performance, and completions, then it becomes a complete
covetousness.
That is also that nothing new. That nothing Jishida and his number to the Shiva.
So harmful intent, then again four factors: basis, attitudes, performance, completion.
That nothing to the that he somebody to tattoo Ishitaro. That somebody and the she did somebody do that is she over it. That's somebody like under the not to sit to go on the share the cheaper cherries or citrus. And was it sit to the share. She didn't conduct so be controversies that she's in Chichi. That nursing did it. Nursing is also Magasa.
So the basis for harmful intentions is the persons that you don't like.
That's somebody like
Kunlong said that.
That's somebody like
Yeah, so sorry, the basis is the beings that you don't like, and attitudes, then there are three: the perceptions, discernment, mental afflictions, and motivation.
The transition of the and his that so called the transition that Debalas, Nurses or the Parabotilla, and then Lisula never cheer never. There were either so convenient, but never cheer. Debala, Shuba, the Ubalas, living near Chidra.
So the motivations is you wish to hit someone and the like, or to harm other, to hurt other people. Sorry, to harm other people's, that for example their bodies or their life.
That Joan connected somebody in the Jewish people. Yes, for never check some church can you in a sheet tell a Jewish people.
So performance is actually engaging in this thought.
That tattoo is what Deva shall touch with the wa. And the Chinese touching.
So the completion is you decide to hit or hurt, harm the persons.
Simple.
Kamaku.
Kamaku. Kamaku, that is just Sasamurabo. Yelang the Ora. Yelang Chanshago. Then what did you machine? Then what that Lakanda, he somebody do a tattoo.
Yeah, so for wrong views, and again, the factors are the same: basis, attitude, performance, and completion.
Well, Lotas, she's like you, this true. Lotas, Langazo, Brondo Lota, Shitla Brondo Lota, Kundig Lotas, million years. That and then because the beach you know, Lotas, Kundig Lota, it's what she is.
So wrong views, the basis of wrong views is an object that actually exists, or is an existent object. And when we talk about wrong views, there are two divisions, and one is the wrong views of denials, and another one is the wrong views of superimpositions. So there are two types of wrong views. One is denial or denigration, and the second type is superimpositions or exaggeration. So in the context of 10 non-virtues, wrong views here refers to the wrong views of denial.
Don't lot of Kunde Lota Silodi, don't do Lota Silva, and that never chile Yova, Maimba Chile Yima, Yota. You don't do Lota, never chile Yova, Maimba Chile Yima, Noah. Oh, that and then because the Chipun because for the soul of that, Kunde Losa Shilwes. 여발은 매봤다 와서 여발은 매봤다는 지도 대가지 여발 매봤다 이 말이 와 나서 로다지거든 본조 매봤다 렌드 매봤다 와 제왕아시 매봤다 대신 매봤다 어디서 주 딜리 근데 나서 주 로다스 매바 치시로
Yeah, so among these 10 non-virtues, wrong views is the heaviest negative actions. So as I mentioned just now, there are two types of wrong views of denial and wrong views of superimpositions. So wrong views of superimpositions basically is to superimpose non-existence, become an assistance, and superimpose on something that is not. Then you superimpose it to be something that it is. So yeah, something that is not, then you superimpose it to be something that it is. So and that is wrong views of superimposition, and wrong views of denial is you deny something exists. Deny something existence. So you denied it, then you say that it doesn't exist. So it doesn't. It is not related to. It's not about our general things that I was saying that it doesn't exist. So it's not about that. So it's specifically related to saying three jewels doesn't exist, and you deny the cause and effect, and you deny the existence of past and future lives, and then you deny the existence of four noble truths. So it refers specifically to those types of wrong views.
제가 당어서 로다를 배 내가 치 지고 사고 싶은데 그래서 서서 제부리스와 그래서 배다 재무지라나 무슨 내가 산 그래서 생각을 하고 배 진조요 말해서 내내요 말해서 근데 칼리제가 무슨 어디 맞아 재무들이 제 말해서 어디서 배 개침으로 내가 사치 싶어서 근데 다른 디가스 포로가 디라 근데 그렇다가 샤고 그래서
So wrong views that I mentioned just now is very heavy, negative karma that we have to be very careful. So yeah, even to tell lies, even to tell a joke, about three jewels doesn't exist or karmic cause and effect doesn't exist, then this is not appropriate. This is an inappropriate joke. And because of this is an inappropriate joke, and then it will create a very heavy negative karma. It will create heavy negative karma as well. Therefore, we should, even is for a joke of for jest, then we shouldn't say create such a wrong view as well. So in this context, the wrong views, it refers to the wrong views of denial.
니가 뒤 차서 말했다. 니가는 가서 내랑다 로다니가 내년도 내그랬어. 내랑다 로다니가 내랑도 내그랬어. 그때 뒤 차서 말했어. 차서 말에 더 지리 디가도 가서 내랑다 로다니가 되나마 시차부지 기술로 있어. 그들이 내려 잡은 있어. 로다기 시리는 좀 있어. 그래서 더 지리는 가서 로다들 삼바다 좋아. 다들이나 아름다운 거 있어. 다 잡은
Yep. So I'm going to stop here. So today I only talk about the basis of wrong views. Then in coming class, then I'm going to talk about attitudes, performance, and completions of wrong views. So yeah, otherwise, then since you were involved, it takes a long time. So I will talk about it in coming class.
This one you just use this one.
Yeah, so see you tomorrow. So stop here and see you tomorrow. Yeah, so I need to prepare so the doma for dispelling hindrances for tomorrow occasions.
사용을 해서 우리 마무리하고 단독이다 봐. 단 중앙시 투에 내가 마무리하고도 무슨 상황 또 할지도 있어.
So we conclude with dedications. We dedicate the roots of virtue accumulated, especially through these Dharma teaching sessions. Then maybe the complete cause for world peace and then for happiness to prevail in the world. And we also dedicate these roots of virtue for this pandemic to be quickly ceased. And then we also dedicate these roots of virtue for those disasters such as floods, such as earthquake, etc. So that is caused by imbalance of four elements. Then may these disasters to be quickly ceased as well.
Dagi Jenian, Zabi Giwandi, Tendang Rua, Kuna Kambe, Najiva, Jizu, Losan Java, Timini Boring Dose, Jeju, Jorin Boche, Maki, Pana, Kikyu, Chiki, Banyamba, Bayan, Kone, Kondo, Beva, Shon, Yambe, Bawe, Chita, Kimba, Kundo, Samputi, Anti, Data, Kungi, Jesu, Daloche, Tida, Tamchira, Domo, Rinpoche, Maki, Pana, Kikyu, Chiki, Banyamba, Bayan, Kone, Kondo, Beva, Shon, Rimita, Rinpoche, Maki, Pana, Kikyu, Chiki, Banyamba, Bayan, Kone, Kondo, Beva, Shon, Yambe, Dancing, Bebe, Kuzu, Tobo, Chosun, Element to do, but also to check and go out there. Sundo Jubilan, Chises, Content to China, Bill, Dancing, Gasola, so they social on the Bende Maleva, College, some Ishino, Gatin Sume, Dancing, Gasola, so they so to Shingon, the Vena, the one, Malu, join the Cheres, one dancing gasoi, Shabi City, Bado, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Geshe-la. Thank you, Ken.
Geshe-la.
Thank
Thank you.
you.